कवन कवन गुण कह कह गावा तू साहिब गुणी निधाना तुमरी महिमा बरन न सको तू ठाकुर ऊच भगवाना तेरे कवन कवन गुण कह कह गावा तू साहिब गुणी निधाना तुमरी महिमा बरन न साको तू ठाकुर ऊच भगवाना तोरी ना टूटे छोरी ना छूटे ऐसी मातो खिंच तनी ऐसी मातो खिंच तनी तुमरी शरण तुम्हारी आशा तुम ही सजन सुहेले राखो राखण हार दयाला नानक घर के गोले राखो राखण हार दयाला नानक घर के गोले Listening to the praise of Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, listening to the praise of those Gurmukhs who have earned the spiritual instructions of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, those saints, listening to the praise of Akal Purkh Vaheguru, the light of whom is pervading amongst all of us. The praise of that Akal Purkh Vaheguru that is Nehkalanki, that has no stain, no blackness. That Vaheguru who is just illumination. That Vaheguru that is all truth. That Vaheguru that is all conscience, is always awake. That Vaheguru that is bliss embodiment. That Vaheguru that is within us all. However, separated by a very, very, very thin partition. The partition of Agyan or spiritual ignorance. I asked Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, and I ask yourselves, the Sangat, to bless me with the ability to be able to talk and do praise of Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj's greatness, about Vaheguru's greatness, the praise of which is very difficult to do. For this tongue is continuously talking anras, poison, words that have no meaning. These eyes that I possess are continuously seeing those things which are not pertinent to seeing Vaheguru within myself. Because these ears are filled with slander and gossip and gandagi of the world, and I have no time to listen to spiritual praise or kirtan. These hands, because they're so unworthy of doing seva, they never do seva, they never work hard to give to someone before they give myself. And for these feet, because they are stuck in emotional attachments to family that prevent myself from going to the congregation, to the satsangat. And this head that is so unfortunate that it doesn't bow before its master, its true embodiment, Dhan Dhan Sadguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. And even when it does bow, the connection between the head bowing and the heart bowing is not there. So I'm going to do beinti to you to be able to bless me with that ability, to be able to see Akal Purkh Vaheguru in everyone, to be able to use these ears for the purpose of listening to the praise of Akal Purkh Vaheguru, to be able to use these hands to be able to serve Gursikhs and the Sangat, to be able to use these feet in the right manner so that Charan Saran Gur Ek Penda Jai Chal Satguru Kot Penda Aage Hoye Leta Hai. So that if I take this one step towards Guruji, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj and Guru Sahib takes thousands of steps towards me. Please bless me with that ability, that my mind and my heart are one with each other in Prema Bhagti, in love for Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, when they bow in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. I want to do one more mantra just before we start. Then I'm going to say Guru Fateh and begin this talk. Please join with me as your blessing. Please give me the ability to be able to do this talk. Ek Oankar Satnam Karta Purkh Nirbhau Nirvair Akal Murat Ajuni Sabam Gur Prasad Jap Adi Sach Jugadi Sach Hai Bhi Sach Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I was asked several weeks ago to do this talk on Prema Bhagti. In fact, I chose the title myself. But then when I chose the title, I thought to myself after a long time, for some time, I thought I was such a fool for doing that. Because in covering what Prema Bhakti is, I realized that I'm nowhere near what Bhakti is, let alone what Prema Bhakti is. Bhakti means, a very difficult word to explain in English. Some words can't be explained in Gurmukhi, or some words in Gurmukhi can't be explained in English. But the closest feeling that I can say that Bhakti is devotion. And Prema Bhagti, therefore, is loving devotion. I'm going to give a summary about what we're going to cover today. We're going to look at what love is. What is the type of love that we have at the moment? And I use the word we because there is no difference between you sitting there and me standing here. We are collectively here to learn the praise of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj and understand some important aspects of Sikhi that sometimes we kind of feel empty of because we don't have it explained to us in English. But hopefully the aim of this day today is within ourselves, within our hearts, we'll feel a little bit warmer and a little bit closer towards Guru Sahib Ji and the Gur Sikhs who have shown Bhakti and Prema Bhakti in their lives, so that it inspires us to walk in the path. When we go Gurdwara, sometimes Gathavachiks will stay on the stage. That when we listen to stories or we hear about the life of a Gursikh, we shouldn't just leave it at your ears. People like myself do that. But we just hear a story, you go home, yeah, brilliant story, excellent, go back and it's all done, brilliant. But the difference from hearing it in a gun and putting it in your life, like beginning to practice it, is the key aspect. And then once you started to practice it, when it becomes a habit, what we call nidyasan, where it actually becomes a part of us, that's when we start to earn our spiritual wages. That's when our actions begin to measure up to what we talk about, or what we hear. And that's what Guruji Maharaj requires from us. He wants that connection from listening all the way to action. So we'll look at the types of love today. Then we're going to look at discovering spiritual love. What is devotion? What is bhakti? Of which there are 9 different types. Some people have gone to the extent of explaining that it's 11 different types. But we're just going to focus on the 9 today. Then we're going to look at Prema Bhagti, because that is different from loving, that's different from the high, it's a step higher above the 9 steps of Bhakti. And then examples of lovingly devoted Sikhs. And finally we're going to look at where is your love, where is our love. Today's society, we look at these kind of things, mental loves. People who are, I don't know if some of you might be psychologists here, but if there are, they might have heard of a therapy called CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. And CBTs, people who believe in it, therapists of that behavioral therapy, believe that you can have balance in 4 different ways in a life. Mental, spiritual, physical, and social and emotional. We're going to touch on what we're doing at the moment and leave the spiritual one aside. Because you know what you're doing lovingly towards Guruji and Sikhi at the moment. I don't. I know what I'm doing, well, the lack of what I'm doing. Mental loves. In our time, in our day, think about what we're doing. Is our day taken up by Facebook? Do we spend more of our time just interacting on the internet and looking at things in the World Wide Web, which the whole dunya is doing, by the way, not just us, the whole world's doing that thing. You're at university, and I would expect some of you might be actually studying. When I was at university, I didn't actually study. But you're spending time in that environment, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's good if you're going to use that knowledge and your qualifications to help someone. Vidya vichari ta paropkari, mother says. Paropkar means doing something good for someone without any expectancy of reward on yourself. Or we're going to use our skills that we learn at uni to help someone. That's a different topic altogether. But I'm just looking at the time that we're spending doing things in our life today. Drugs, there's coke there, there's weed, there's scotch, whiskey, cardi cokes. Is our time at university involved just doing that? When I was at uni, it was that. Majority of the time. And I still am of the opinion that sometimes it's just the experience that was important for me at university rather than the qualification itself, even though the qualification helped a little bit. But that kind of mahal, that kind of environment where you get sucked into this aspect of it. It might be a physical need, but it starts off mentally. Physical afterwards. But mentally it begins first because you might do it for a certain reason. I put weed down there because I like it. I haven't got one yet, but I played it on my cousins and so it's good. First time last week, that's not bad. I see how outdated I am. But then I thought, it reminded me of when I used to play on the PC. We used to have these games a long, long time ago. We used to have this game called Player Manager and Championship Manager. And I used to spend copious amounts of hours playing that game, managing Leicester City Football Club and making them the European champions. But I remember falling asleep in front of the PC at times. And the time would be like 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. And I know what I would be trying to do now at that time. Apart from sleeping. And my thoughts now are very different to what they were some years ago. But are we mental loves? Is our love, although we might make it a habit, it might actually become an infatuation or attachment for us. And you know when it's bad for you, when it starts to have an effect on your health. For example, if you're sitting in front of a TV screen for copious amounts of hours, your eyes are going to get affected. They'll get weaker. Same thing could happen with braille, I suppose, as well. If you're reading in the dark. When you're sometimes sitting on the internet, you might start feeling, oh, okay, this is a bit too much for me now. If you've got a laptop, the back stops burning because there's no air from the excavator fan of the laptop to your legs. Or your wrists start hurting. You start getting that wrist sprain thing. It just feels, and if you're already into Sikhi and you're doing nothing, sometimes you can just feel it at this bar that I'm just overloading here too much now. A bit too much. With these drugs and alcohol and stuff, I think the body tells you you're sleeping too much, can't focus, can't concentrate, getting erratic, getting angry loads of the times. We know the effects of these things. They're mental loves. And each one of them done in extreme form has big problems. There's news reports of little kids who are addicted to playing video games and they can't do anything else. They don't even eat. 17, 18 hours just playing video games. Addiction to education, there is such a thing. To the point that people become egotistical over it and develop a God complex. They don't matter anymore. No one else matters anymore. It's about what you think and what's important to you. People become egotistical with that. Internet addictions. When they go into serious formats, then you get all sorts of things happening. You get problems with the opposite gender. You get child abuse, sexual abuse. These things are happening through the internet. That's extreme usage. And obviously drugs and drink are dependency as well. Mental loves. What does Maharaj say in relation to these things? Salok At Sundar Kuleen Chatur Mukh Jnani Dhanvant Mirtak Kahya Nanaka Jeh Preet Nahi Bhagavant. You may be very handsome, very knowledgeable, born into a highly respected family, very wise, very knowledgeable, very prosperous and wealthy after you finish degree. Or even now. But even so, if you've got no love for Vaheguru inside you, then you're seen as a corpse by Maharaj, seen as dead. And you got Kadli Yakam. That's a big thing Maharaj is saying there. Because the reason why we receive all these things, handsomeness, being born into a good family, being, having wise parents, that makes you wiser, knowledgeable, you got education, you got money. The reason why we receive them is because maybe we've done something good. We've done something good in our lives, our parents have done something good in our lives for others. And as a result, Parameshwar, Vaheguru has given you those good qualities. Say, Ale Putra, you can have these. Sanjog is something given to you, very good. Vijog is something that you haven't got, taken away from you. Doe car chalave. They aren't the drivers of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj's car, unfortunately. Sanjog, Vijog, Doe car chalave, Lekhe ave bhag. Car means energy. From your qualities that you have got arises energy to do even better deeds and to create a clearer path for yourself later on. If you didn't have wealth, you can't help a person financially. Somebody came to your doorstep and said, I'm going to go up on I need £200. Can you give it? You can't, because we're not wealthy. So even that is a gift from us. I want to break off in between little bits because I'm remembering little stories as I'm going across. A friend of mine told me this story about this guy in India who was very, very poor, Sengasi. He's still around now, but he's in Germany now. And at the Bar Sahib, Amritsar Sahib, used to go on his little bike every day. Really, really poor, really struggling financially. His family's really poor as well. And what he used to do is, in Darbar Sahib, in the Sarovar, sometimes they used to have like leaves from the trees that would fall, from Dukhpanjani Bedi or from the other Bedi, Baba Buddha Ji Beed, the trees on the sides of Pakarma. So what he would do the seva that he would do, would just go and just clean the leaves, pick the leaves up from the Sarovar. Love, na? That's love. Pyar. And one day he was holding the leaves and he thought to himself, I haven't got nothing. I go, really poor, really needy. And with those leaves, he just turned round and faced the bar side and the mandar side of it. And he just put the leaves like that towards the Maharaj and he just let them go into the water again. Offered the leaves that were already there. That's saying it all, isn't it? Because whatever we do have is his anyway. It's all a Guru Vaheguru. So if you think that we've got a gaddi or a car or something, or paisa, or khana, or bhojan, or food, it's actually Parmeshwar's anyway. We're just the bahana, we're just the excuse to do that seva. Or that stuff is an excuse for us to do seva. So the leaves are already there anyway. He came along, he gave the leaves, the same things that he'd been given, he gave them back. Maharaji, and it's a big sign. When you do meet someone spiritual, when you go and see Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, we should offer something. Whether it's your mind, whether it's some money, a little bit of it, whether it's some food or fruit, I don't know. That's up to you to decide. Put the leaves there, Maharaj, I'm grieve, yeah. Part do it only. Can you fill this, bag up? Kuch nahi haga, khali hai. Kirpa karo. Kirpa hogi. That's what he did. Within 4 or 5 years, he'd moved to Germany, he'd managed to build up about 3-4 factories, yeah, became really wealthy, and he's still in Germany now. He's really got loads of karobar, really rich. All because he did that ardas, and he puts it down to the ardas. Maharaj ko kuch nahi hai, khali hath si. But you know what he says now? Because I wish I'd asked for something different from Maharaj at that time. I wish I'd just asked for contentment. Because now I've got everything. I don't even get a chance to sit down and focus introspectively. I don't get a chance to focus on the spirituality. And that's the difference now. In the past, people used to have it, blazoned into their daily routines that there's some time for introspection. Apart from the Kam Guard, education and everything, people used to have a little time at the start of the day where they'd just spend time with Maharaj, their eyes focused, closed, looking within themselves. And at the end of the day, the end of work in the evening, and at night. And some people all night, because they had that love for Guruji. But now it's disappearing. I work as a mentor in a college, and I work with young people, 16 to 19-year-olds, and sometimes even adults who are doing the access courses to university and stuff. And the majority of people who come with problems, whether they're social, whether they're emotional, whether they're mental or physical problems, they can all be solved by just getting up early in the morning and focusing on Vaheguru. And I always put it to them. It's slightly unprofessional, but I always put it to them. I said, have you ever considered anything else? Anything else spiritually? Do you do anything spiritually? Alright, you've got physical balance, you've got emotional balance, you might not have this type of balance, but is there any room for spirituality in your life? And some of them turn around and say, yeah, I do. Then it tends to be a good conversation about another faith, or their faith, and my faith, which is general. There's two types of dharam, sadharan dharam, then asadharan dharam. Sadharan dharam is Sab meh jot jot hai soye tis keh chanan, sab meh chanan hoye. Is we all part of God. Every single individual being in this world has got Vaheguru in them. That's Sadharan dharam. Asadharan dharam is your own dharam, your own faith, your own discipline, which allows you to see oneness in everyone. So we've got to be focused in our own faith and our own red and our own discipline, but also see a Akal Purkh Vaheguru in everyone as well. So he had everything, he had wealth, but he still had that thought in his mind that Akal Purkh Vaheguru minu diktaya hai. We should never lose sight of that, because when we lose sight of that, that's when the difficulties come in our lives. Durmat mat jo pivate bikhali pat kamali. Ram rasayan jo rate nanak sach amali. Those fools who drink in the wine of evil-mindedness, their honor is shredded and becomes crazy. But those who are imbued with the sublime essence of the Lord, or Nanak, are intoxicated with the truth. Babar said to Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, hey, take some opium. Have this. Maharaj says, what are you talking about? Amal Gulolla Kudka Ditta Devanha. Maharaj is saying his drug is the name of Akal Purkh Vaheguru. That was his reply to Babar. But there are some people who drink durmat. There's 4 types of mat. There's durmat, anmat, manmat, the gurmat. 4 matane, 4 different types of mat. Anmat is when somebody else says you should do this and you're going to do it. Let's put it into context. Hey, put a 5 on this bet, or drink this achakla glassy alone. Yeah? Oh, anmat leke banda kar la panda, pee la panda. Takes somebody else's mat, somebody else's thinking,